Okay, now I want to address everyone because, as you all know, I've been doing this for over 15, 16, 17 years now. I came out of a council while working in a server room looking after all of that council's data. I think I know a thing or two about how a local government works. But what I'd like to address is the fact that none of you act. You're all sitting here like this is a TV show. You're all sitting here like you can just sit on your hands and watch someone else fix your own problems. And they are your problems. All across the country, you face poverty. You face being pushed out of your homes, manipulated out of your constitution on purpose by these politicians serving foreign interests in your land. Now, you're going to see a change of crown occur, but it's not the lawful authority in your constitution as already defined in the Mankind video. There is a trail of history here in international law that sees you administered. And getting out of fines is great. Arguing with council is great, but you're not addressing the actual problem that you face. You're a people being undermined by foreign interests, and you're not acting like a people. You're refusing to stand united. You're arguing with each other and being better than each other all the time. It's very obvious in the comments. It's very, very obvious in the comments that you all think you're better than each other. It's very obvious in the comments that you're all picking at my work to try and get out of your fine, and it ain't going to work, because my work looks at the crimes of your government. The crimes of your government. And this is important because these people have committed crimes, and they are excusing themselves from the crimes because the Australian Federal Police admitted that they weren't going to follow up on them, even though they're fucking obligated to. And this is where you as a people sit on your hands complacently all the time, whining like little children, like incompetents, like you're dependent on the state, instead of realising that you're the men that gave the state its authority in the first place, while some foreign authority tries to push you out of your constitution, being genocide. Genocide. They're wiping you out. They're wiping your whole ideology out. They're wiping your whole entire culture out. It's genocide. And Albo's using apartheid, another crime, to get it done. And you all sit on your hands, not doing anything about it, maybe because you're that ignorant about what's going on. All you could do is fight a fine. And all you can do is abuse messengers that bring you truths, because you can't comprehend those truths. Well, the truth of the matter is this. Albanese tried to take your constitution away from all of you, and you sit on your hands. You sit there waiting for them to do it, instead of gathering the men, instead of gathering the families, instead of standing up in your God-given right as a federal power over and above what is national, a national government to a federal body of men as defined in numbers. The fathers of all your houses have power above your public servants that treat you like their servants. And the Bible said that you would end up under the table going for the scraps after the dogs of war have got to them. And that's the point you're at. The dogs of war don't even get to scraps anymore, and no one wants to join a defence force to defend your country against what runs Albanese and his government of the day. You haven't recognised your power in the engineers case to step up and above the government of the day, especially if The government of the day is full of war criminals under the command of Anthony Albanese, under the command of Scott Morrison. You have to look at Liberal and Labor as playing the same game against you. And you all sit on your hands, waiting to be poor, waiting to be pushed out of your homes, waiting to be pushed out of your jobs, waiting while a Nazi force came and locked you down in your homes and tried to poison your entire population in a genocide, a fucking war crime against all of you as a people, committed by Anthony Albanese and his government. And you'll sit there and do nothing. You'll sit there and accept it because you know nothing about your own constitution, you know nothing about your own country, you know nothing about defending it, you know nothing about your Anzac, and you believe your Anzac served a St Edward's crown. You might be deluded. You might actually be deluded, because that St Edward's crown was obligated to all those war rules that I've laid down on the table, that Anthony Albanese has committed an offence in relation to, along with his cohorts. Joint commission, complicity and common purpose. And their common purpose was to undermine all of you. And you sat there and accepted it. The bottom line for all of you is, do you want to keep this occurring in your country? Do you want to allow criminals to keep committing crimes against you because you're too ignorant to stand up for yourselves? Or are you going to stand up together, united in a federal commonwealth, so that we can use the words as a people united in a federal commonwealth, as per the Engineers Case 1920. This might involve God, King and country to stand up to what is a Section 44 offence going on inside this government. And this is the bottom line here. All of you have been chasing your tails, involving yourselves with manipulation from the police on social media. So it's no wonder why you've never moved forward arguing all of that lawtard. It might be the police seeding you all the lies so that you end up getting arrested by the thugs in those uniforms. So the choice is clear. Stand up, unite together, or kiss it all goodbye. That's the bottom line here, really, in that being a people is being able to depend on each other instead of depending on elbow, depending on all of these promises which undermine all of you as a people. Changing your constitution, changing the blessing of Almighty God, changing things that are criminal to change. It's treason, right? Section 116 forbids any of these people from discussing religion. And the blessing of Almighty God that founded their right to be politicians can never be undermined by them. Anthony Albanese attempted to undermine the very office in which he sits, the very office in which he was given authority by you, the people, to sit in. And you will sit there and accept that, instead of charging them with criminal offences for doing these things to you, your country, and your constitution. If you finally see this and you step up and you start making accusations to all and sundry of the crimes they have committed, then maybe we'll get somewhere instead of sitting on Facebook all day, peddling crap to each other, trying to get out of fines group crap, trying to play hero tard activist crap, instead of realising the law underneath it all and the crimes that these people have committed, like Lydia. This is it war, Lydia? Because you're asking us to turn on Aborigine. And given that they were sovereign on the land next to us, why would we go to war? And why hasn't Lydia been charged with inciting violence? She might realise now what that red ensign is. Not an ensign. It's not a civil merchant admiralty flag. It's the land flag of your armed forces before they were put under Hague Conventions. It's the land flag of your fathers, of your forefathers, of the fathers of your very houses under the blessing of Almighty God. So it's up to all of you to recognise your power in a federal capacity over and above a national government. A national government that flies its national flags, while you have a federal flag to define the families on the land over and above the public servants that serve them.